Yo, what's up YouTube? Dirty Dan Gaming coming back. I know it's been a minute. I do apologize. But we are back and we are ready to drop our Infantry Season of Conquest Wheel of Fortune Priority Commanders video. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, so we're going to try and run through this as quickly as possible. However, this video might go a little bit more in depth because we are going to now begin to talk about what kind of role you are playing in Rise of Kingdoms, because your role is actually going to determine what commanders you should be prioritizing as you head into Season of Conquest. Now, this is going to be the infantry version. We are going to be coming out with cavalry next, archers, and then leadership. We're going to try and do a mass run of videos, and I'm going to schedule these all for you guys so that way we can keep the daily Rise of Kingdoms content coming for the channel. I do apologize for being a little MIA this week, but we're going to keep it going. We're going strong. So we're going to start out with our man CJ Chuck Jun Young. If you guys have missed any of these videos, I'm going to be pointing you up to the cards in the tops as we touch on these commanders and go over in what order you should be prioritizing them. So we have Mr. CJ here, and to be honest, and someone posted in the comments very eloquently that we just haven't seen enough of him and that it is a risky investment, which I do 100% agree with. And this is kind of why I gave him a dirty 1 thumb up, because we just don't have, I think, the proper commanders yet that this guy can really shine. He does do well behind Guan Yu's, as well as paired up with Alex, and you can do Alex primary or CJ primary. But all in all, CJ just has a lot of things that are conditional that you really have to get kind of lucky in order to take full advantage of. There are plenty of commanders out there where you do depend a good amount on RNG, and this is one of those guys. And on top of the randomness, you just need the circumstances as well to line up. So I'm going to put CJ last in terms of priorities, and I might even go as far as to say that you probably want to wait on any other infantry commanders after the other two that I go in depth about, because as we know, the meta is always changing within Rise of Kingdoms. There's always new commanders coming out, and I would say that we can probably expect new infantry commanders probably, I would say, within the second quarter of 2022. So probably anywhere between that April to summertime. That's just kind of about the schedule that Lilith releases them on. I don't think we're going to get any more quick commander releases the way that we got the Amanitore and Gilgamesh. Moving on, so there's only 2 other commanders that we have to talk about, really. Remember, this is just for your Season of Conquest Wheel of Fortune commanders, since you are going to have access to all of them as soon as you do enter that Season of Conquest. So next we're going to go over Harald, who in my Harald overview video, and again, card up on the top if you guys missed that, we gave him the dirty 2 thumbs up. Now, he does a lot of really good things, okay? Just to summarize, he's going to be really good in the open field. He's going to be really good in rally situations with Mccall. You could maybe sneak and get away and run a few rallies, maybe with like a Guan or an Alex, but it's just not optimal. It's not what's meta right now. We really see Harald shine in rally situations with Mccall. He's really good for open field. You just want to hide him a little bit. So if you are going to be looking into a commander like Harald, in my opinion, you should probably be someone who is a rally leader. And I will go over the last commander in our priority list, who is going to be probably the main open field commander priority target that you should be going for. So Harald is great for open field, but again, I think if you are a rally leader going into Season of Conquest, that you really want to save your sculpts for Harald to invest into him as well as Mccall. And we are going to do a whole nother series with the MGE commanders, going to be doing overviews the same way that I did with the Wheel of Fortune guys. So I will be going over Mccall, and I guess this is a little bit of a spoiler alert, but Mccall is definitely worthy of investment for your Season of Conquest gameplay, since he is an infantry rally meta at the current moment. So anyone, again, who is going to be a rally lead is probably going to be looking into picking up Harald. After investing into Harald and Mccall, if you are that rally lead, then I would say you can then move on to our last commander, who is Guan Yu. I might get some heat for this. I know he's one of the best commanders in the game. He's good for PvE, he's good for PvP, he's good in almost any function of the game. However, you kind of really see the drop off with Guan Yu in terms of being a viable rally option once you enter that Season of Conquest. I mean, there was a time where Guan, before the whole, you know, scheduling was the way it is now, there was a time and place where Guan was part of the rally meta, but that time is just past us, and we now have better options. For Guan Yu, though, however, I do believe that he is going to be hands down the best infantry open field commander that you can invest in. Now, this is where I'm going to get a little bit of that heat. Oh, well, Dan, I should invest in Harald as opposed to Guan Yu first. Well, then what do I do for open field? Look, it is tough. That is why we are basing this whole series of videos of how to invest your sculptures the correct way leading into Season of Conquest, as well as who to prioritize. So for the players who aren't rally lead priorities, okay, and that this is going to be kind of players like myself, who, yes, we may have a full legendary set, but it might not be full VIP 17. There's plenty of people who are out there who have VIP 17, who have fully special talented gear. Look, we're secondary rally options, okay? And I learned that the hard way a little bit in this KVK. I went ahead and I maxed Chandra. I wanted to use him in the open field anyway. However, we did see that there is a difference too, and also it depends on if you're spending on your crystal technology as well. So I was a little behind in terms of my all damage buffs that I was getting, and I'm a team player. I don't want to keep sending out my rallies when I know that we have better options out there. So players are going to kind of have to bite the bullet at some point as they're entering Season of Conquest, because you just aren't going to have that many sculptures saved up. You're talking about probably roughly anywhere from 8 months to a year of gameplay until you are entering Season of Conquest. And we'll get an exact timeline for you guys on that probably a little bit later. Unless anyone knows off the top of their head, then please drop a comment down below. So we do have a pretty good estimate as to how that is going to be, but at least for our Season of Conquest, it took us about a year to get there. This was before Lilith adjusted any of the KVK lengths, as well as the time in between KVKs. So jumping back into Guan, if you are, again, a secondary rally option, then you are going to want to go with Guan Yu as your first infantry commander that you're going to be maxing from the Wheel of Fortune. Again, he's probably the best commander that you can get in open field. Probably he's probably a top 3 out of all 3 classes, just because of the massive damage that he's dealing with his AoE, and on top of that, silencing an AoE that silences. It's nuts. And then you're also getting additional burst damage over here. There's just so many things that work really well for Guan Yu. And if you were able to max your Alex, who, if you're an infantry player, that should probably be the first or second commander you're maxing, then you have a bona fide combination there with Guan Yu and Alex until you can get access to Leonidas, where then I believe that Leonidas and Guan Yu are very much like Attila Takeda, and you don't really want to break that pairing up too much because I think they're just so good together. So until you can get to that point, then you can run Guan Yu Alex, Guan Yu Charles even is pretty okay. So that's kind of my consensus on where players should be heading towards in terms of priorities. So if you are more of a secondary rally option, or you're just gearing up your account to be an open field beast, then you want to go with Guan Yu first. If you are going to be that main rally option for your kingdom, then you are going to want to go after Harald first out of your Wheel of Fortunes. Now, let me just premise all of this by saying my approach on Wheel of Fortune commanders is you want to do 3 wheels. This is how it was in the past, and even leading up to Season of Conquest, you do still have that wheel structure of you're getting the commanders 3 times. I believe it is. Now, though, Lilith is kind of testing our hands a little bit and saying, hey, well, we're going to give you a different troop type commander wheel every other cycle. So pick your poison. Do you want to go ahead and spend the extra universal sculptures to max a Wheel of Fortune commander, which people typically didn't do back in the day? Usually we would wait until that 3 wheel cycle is done and then you invest. You're saving about roughly, if you're lucky, maybe half the sculptures that you would need to invest as opposed to the full like 690. So you're going to have to play this very wisely if you want to make sure that your account is set up in a good fashion. And then lastly, you can kind of put CJ on the back burner, because after you work on these 2 commanders, and let me just say too, rally lead, go for Harald first. Open field, go for Guan Yu first. And then once you finish those 2, then you can flip-flop, okay? So then the open field guys can then go for Harald, and then the rally leaders can then flip-flop and then go back and work on the Guan Yus, given we don't get any really dope infantry commanders that come out in the future, and then maybe even these leadership commanders too, because they look pretty OP as well. There's a lot of options, guys, and we're going to try and dig into this as deep as we can and kind of try to give you the best direction on how to invest for your Season of Conquest gameplay. So just as a quick summary, open field players or secondary rally options, go for Guan Yu, solidify your open field marches, and then go for Harald. And then for the rally leaders, go for Harald first, because you are going to need him as well as Mccall to, do the rallies against your Xenos that do really well, and also against the Jadwiga YSSs of the world. Stay away from archers because you're just going to get shredded. And then lastly, you can go ahead and work on CJ if you wish, but my honest advice is shelve him until we get the next set of infantry commanders, and then make your decision, because honestly, he's a little underwhelming at the moment until we see someone, come up with some good gear or a decent talent build, and who knows. But take your time with this stuff, guys. Your sculptures are very valuable. It takes a lot of time to accumulate them, so don't mess it up. All right, so hopefully this video helped. With that, I'm out. We're going to have more videos coming. I'm going to be scheduling a bunch of videos to come out later this week, and we're going to continue to follow this trend with the other troop type commanders. So I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider slapping a like and subscribing down below. You can always change your mind later if you don't like me, and it's all totally free. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good one, guys. Love you. Peace.